Shalom and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled The Jewish Attitude Towards Nekama, Revenge. In the previous two shiurim, we discussed whether the Hilchot of the Isser, the prohibition of Nekama, revenge, applies to a Gentile Rasha. And the second shiur, we discussed whether it applies to a Jewish Rasha. Now we can take a general look at the attitude of the Torah towards Nekama, revenge. Meir Kahane Zatzal, in his magnum opus or Haraayon, translated into English as The Jewish Idea, starts off chapter 12, entitled Nekama, with the following quote: Ha'ava b'mekoma, love in its proper place. V'chein hasin'ah, hatred in its proper place. Ha'shalom b'mekomo, shalom in its proper place. V'chein ha'milchama, war in its proper place. Harachmanut b'mekoma, compassion in the proper place. V'chein ha'chazariyut b'hanekama, so too to be tough and cruel, and nekama and revenge in its proper place, which of course is the famous pasuk in Kohelet 8. There's a time for war, a time for peace. It's from Shlomo Melech. It's part of Tanakh. It's not Rav Kahane's novel idea. And the fact is, every midah has to be used in the proper way. Even nekama, kel nekamot Hashem, kel nekamot afiyah. We see Hashem is described as one who is involved in nekama. And we see that pasuk says, nekom nekmat hamidyanim. Bnei Yisrael we're commanded to avenge the midyanim. So it seems like every midah in the right place, including nekama. Let's explain this further. The pasuk in Shoftim, in Saifer Shoftim, not Parsha Shoftim, Saifer Shoftim describes Shimshon when the Jews said, "What are you doing with the Plishtim?" So he had a very simple statement. What did he say? So he said, "Kashe asuli kain asiti lahem." Just like they were attacking me, I attacked them. And the Medrash Rabbah says that Yaakov, in his prophecy, thought, before he had a complete prophecy, that Shimshon was going to be the Messiah. He was going to be the Mashiach. But then he saw that Shimshon was going to die, so he said, I guess he won't be the Mashiach. He'll be a great leader of Klal Yisrael, but not the Mashiach. But that's how much he thought. What about the famous incident in the Torah of Shimon and Levi? It's a bit confusing. Was it right what they did, destroying the whole community? So once again, the flag had a picture in the Midbar, in the desert. The flag of the descendants of Shimon had a picture of what? Shechem on it. And the Medrash says that why? To remind us of the noble deed that they did. The commentary in the Medrash says why? Because of the great Mesir Nefesh in Shechem, because he was an extremist in a good way against Znus, against the horrible things, atrocities that they did to Yaakov's family, to Dinah, and therefore they will always be commemorated in a positive way with the flag, showing the picture of Shechem. So you see, Nekama has a proper place and has an important role when used in the right way. When it's used as a personal issue between one Jew and another Jew, he didn't do this to me, so I'm going to do this back to him. Chas v'shalom, God forbid. But when our enemies are acting improperly to us, and we represent, of course, Hashem in the world, then it is a great mitzvah to have nekama. And no one should think, no, you always have to be nice, you always have to be sweet. No, you have to be nice and sweet when it's appropriate to be nice and sweet. And when it's time to be mean, and to avenge and to destroy our enemy and to have nekama, revenge, and that's the mitzvah of the day. That's what our Masorah teaches us. Just to finish off with one last question, where does Yaakov's criticism of Shimon and Levi fit in over here? So during the incident itself, when they attacked the Shechem, he said, you're going to start trouble over here, everyone's going to attack us. They answered, you're going to make our sister into a zonah, into a prostitute. And he was silent. It seems from there, their only criticism was that he had of them is that just practically, we can't really stand up against the enemies. And they said, you know what? We just cannot tolerate this. And then he was silent. So it seems maybe he accepted the argument. However, in the end of the book, in Braishit, he does put them down. So the question is, he does seem to put them down, that there was something wrong. So it seems like the Berachot and that Yaakov offered to all the brothers and the criticism he gave them, it seems like that's the final word. So there was something wrong with what they did in Shechem. So then how do we go ahead and have a flag commemorating Shechem when Yaakov puts them down? So Rav Meir Kahane itself says a fantastic answer. He says the act itself was fine. And that's why Yaakov's only criticism was the practical ramifications. But at the end of Saifer Braishit, Yaakov already saw that these same two are the ones who were involved in selling Yosef. He says, you guys have an aggressive tendency towards you, a tendency towards aggression. And there's something unhealthy about that. And that might have played a role by Shechem as well. So the act itself objectively was fine. It may have been a bit of a faulty motivation, and that cannot be. When you're going to get involved in the Nekama, it has to be pure l'shem shamayim, because the evil has to be wiped out. It can have anything to do with one's aggressive nature. And now that I see what happened with Yosef, you have to re-examine. So what we see over here from our sources is that Nekama, Achzarius, Milchama, fighting, cruelty, being tough on people, if it is a fellow Jew, and you have a little fight, an argument, disagreement, chas v'shalom. But if it's against that enemy, then Nekama is Kel Nekamot Hashem. We have to emulate Hashem and have proper Nekama and have proper revenge. And that's what we see about Shimshon, and that's what we see about Shimon and Levi, where the act itself was commemorated with the flag. And Yaakov at the end of the Sefer just said, you have to watch out for the aggression that does not abused and used in a wrong way. It's Hashem, we should be able to have proper use of all our midot. Love at the proper time, fight at the proper time. Be generous at the proper time, and have kindness at the proper time, to be able to destroy an enemy at the proper time as well. Shalom.